Fang, a great timber wolf whose coat was the color of a gathering storm, watched his pack from a snowy ridge. His years were etched in the scars on his muzzle and the wisdom in his amber eyes. His pack was not one of pure bloodlines, but of circumstance and survival, a mosaic of the north. There was Kalani, an Arctic wolf, her fur as white as the moon, her paws silent on the deepest snow. She was the scout, swift and sharp-eyed, but she carried the aloofness of her solitary homeland. Beside her sat Boris, a red wolf from the south, his powerful shoulders and russet fur a stark contrast to the pale landscape. He was their strength, their hunter, but his temper was as fiery as his coat. Then there was Pip, a sleek black wolf, a hybrid whose dark fur made him a living shadow against the snow. He was leaner than the others, with a cleverness in his eyes that spoke of a mixed lineage. The others often scoffed at his heritage, but his mind saw solutions where their pure wolf instincts saw only obstacles. This unforgiving winter had starved their valley. The elk were gone, the rabbits burrowed deep, and the gnawing ache of hunger had become a constant companion. "The Whispering Peaks," Fang announced one frigid morning, his voice a low rumble. "Our ancestors spoke of a valley beyond them, a place where the prey is plentiful. We leave at dawn." The journey was a crucible. The initial days were fraught with bickering. Boris's impatience clashed with Kalani's cautious approach. "We must push harder," he would growl, his paws sinking into the deep drifts she navigated with ease. Pip, meanwhile, would dart ahead, only to be snapped at for his unpredictable darting movements. A recent thaw had left the ice a treacherous web of thin patches. Kalani went first, her light body gliding across the surface. She tested each step, a phantom in the blowing snow. She called back, trying to map a safe path, but Boris, believing strength was the answer, charged forward. The ice groaned and splintered beneath his weight. He plunged into the heart-stopping water, his powerful limbs useless against the current, pulling him under the ice shelf. Panic seized the pack, but it was Pip who acted. "The fallen log," he yipped, racing toward a dead tree on the bank. He nudged it frantically with his nose. Understanding dawned on Fang. Together, he and a reluctant Kalani pushed the heavy log across the cracking ice until it was close enough for Boris to grab. He hauled his half-frozen body from the water, chastened and shivering. That night, huddled together for warmth, no one mentioned bloodlines. Boris looked at Pip with newfound respect. The lesson was silent but profound. Strength alone was not enough. Days later, a blizzard descended, wiping out sight and scent. They were lost, circling in a white wilderness. Kalani, used to the open tundra, felt her senses useless in the dense, swirling forest. Fang felt the pack's despair, a cold more biting than the wind. He turned to the one wolf he knew thought differently. "Pip," he said, his voice calm. "Your kin navigates by landmarks others ignore. What do you see?" Pip, emboldened, closed his eyes, focusing on the feel of the wind and the slope of the ground beneath his paws. He remembered the subtle shift in the wind's direction against a rock face they'd passed hours ago. "This way," he barked, turning not west but northeast. "The wind is our compass. The trees are thicker here, it means a valley is near." He led them through the blinding storm with an uncanny certainty, a skill born not of wolf blood but of his unique heritage. When they finally descended into the Whispering Peaks' hidden valley, it was as the legends described. Herds of deer moved like shadows through the pines, and the air was thick with the promise of life. They were no longer a timber wolf, an Arctic wolf, a red wolf, and a hybrid. They were a single unit, their individual traits woven into a tapestry of survival. Kalani's caution, Boris's strength, and Pip's ingenuity, all guided by Fang's wisdom, had become their pack's defining spirit. They had learned that a pack's true power was not in the purity of its blood, but in the strength of its bonds and the respect it held for the unique gifts of every member. Don't forget to like and subscribe.